You know, whenever you're like clowning on your homie and he tries to join in on the joke, clowning on himself, and you're like, all right, it's not fun anymore. We're done with this. I think that's what Drake is trying to do. And it's kind of working a little bit. So I don't blame him for doing it.
it's also a deflection tactic. Let's be real here. Bali Mimi, no.
That's not it.
Nah, I can't even do it. But anyway.
What is it? Do, re, mi, fa, so. Oh, I went low at the end. It's going to go high like that.
We got to practice because, like, the Put You On segment, we got to nail it this time. You know, it's been a while. We've been on hiatus.
What? A month break?
Hey, for good reason, though. We've been celebrating. We both leveled up, went up a year in age. So
I turned 23. How old did you turn?
24.
Damn,
yeah. I'm old as shit. But yeah, we also both went on some vacations. We're both getting back into the swing of things at our jobs. I'm without AC right now, so I am currently staying at my mom's place, which is why I have a different background than normally. Yeah, shout out mom for keeping me cool. But welcome back to the Are We Recording podcast. It's been a minute, guys.
I'm so happy to be here, man. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tapping in. You already know who it is. Two of the coldest co-hosts in podcast history. To my right, Mr. 007, Gage Sutton.
Yeah, you know what it is. And to my left, is it left, I guess, on my screen?
This way, this way.
My left. Okay, right. It is the young Rottweiler, 5'5" of pure temptation.
Yep.
He is Ethan Hamilton. And you're listening to the Are We Recording podcast. Again, thank y'all for coming back. We did take that little break, but we are ready to come back and talk everything that's been going on in the weeks that we've been gone. So let's not tug the viewers' dicks anymore. Let's go.
That's a crazy.
Sorry, hold on. Yeah, that was a crazy way to phrase that. We're 2 minutes in. Yeah. Man, can we restart? No, we're too far in. Fuck it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get an update, man. What's going on in the hip hop world? What do you want to talk about? And what's going on in music that in the last couple of weeks?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say it's been pretty quiet because this past Friday, Anderson .Paak and Knowledge dropped a No Worries project. Don Toliver dropped a project.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky dropped his Gemini album. So music has been dropping, but what I want to focus on is the summer beef that we had. Because everybody knows Kendrick Lamar, Drake, the beef of the century, the biggest beef of hip hop of all time. Pause. Now it's Pride Month, no pause. And
yeah, so now there's been like a pause for anything this episode.
No pauses episodes. No pauses episodes. Okay, Pride Month. But
that's crazy.
But now that we're like a month removed from the beef, Kendrick has announced his Ken and Friends tour. Not tour. Kendrick Lamar has announced his Ken and Friends show in LA on, I think, June the 19th, on Juneteenth. Do I think it's a coincidence he did it on Juneteenth? Not at all. But I'm so excited for this show because not only is it going to be in LA and he's going to have surprise guests popping out, but he's also going to have it live stream on Twitch and Amazon Prime. So even though me and Gage might not be there live and direct, we will be watching it live and direct on whatever streaming platform they have. And it made me so excited because this is the first time we're going to see Kendrick really pop out after the beef. Because even before the beef, we haven't really heard much from him since the end of the Mr. Morale tour and him doing all the award season for that like 2 years ago. And during the beef with Drake, we still haven't even heard him comment on the beef. We've heard Drake comment on Instagram stories, on Twitter, on Instagram captions. We have heard people on behalf of Kendrick who have spoken with him in the past couple months talking about some of the stuff like when Family Matters dropped. They said that he was on some like demon time's a crazy way I would put it, but he was on that type of time and when dropping Meet the Grams. So I'm so excited to see how he's gonna do in this show and what he's gonna say, because not like us, I think he might pull a Jay-Z and Kanye with Niggas in Paris when they performed it 15 times in a row. I think he's about to do that with Not Like Us, because Not Like Us is already Song of the Summer, might be Song of the Year.
Man, that's I'm not arguing with you because that has been the only thing I've been playing in my car nonstop. Um, I'm really interested to see what happens too, because maybe it's just the wrestling fan or like the showman in me that's like, I also want Kendrick to like maybe bring up Drake at the concert, and Drake pulls up in the armored truck he took a picture with on Instagram the other day and is like, "What now? Come on!"
Yeah.
But that's a really bad idea because I mean Drake is already losing this battle and pulling up to even though it's an armored truck in LA. Uh, yeah, I don't see this going well for Drake. Whatever happens on Wednesday.
Do you think he performs all the songs in the beef, like Euphoria, even his verse on Like That, Meet the Grams, and Not
Well,
Like Us?
I think like there's a chance that he brings Future and Metro out, so he does Not Like Us.
See, the Ken and Friends makes me think. I definitely think because it's coinciding with the 10-year anniversary of TDE. I do think a lot of TDE people will be in the house. I do expect J Rock, Absol,
So
Q.
see, that'll be interesting because I
I
feel
don't think
like
SZA will be there, to be honest. SZA's like in a weird situation because like she's cool with Kendrick and Drake. Kendrick being her former label mate, and they were pretty close, and her past history with Drake. I wonder like if she falls on the side on this, but that's just me being nosy.
I mean, I wonder where all of TD falls on this because have we really heard any of them say much about this?
Yeah, bro. Top, you've heard all over Twitter. TDE really, it's been everybody but SZA
Well,
have kind of. Isaiah Rashad was playing Not Like Us at his concert. Schoolboy, Ab, they were all Daylight. They were all commenting on this beef, even punching and Top.
yeah,
I think
I mean,
TDE. That's what I liked about it too. Is TDE like not that it was their responsibility to stand by Kendrick, but like I like how they didn't leave him out to dry. Like they stood 10 toes, and even though Kendrick's not on the label no more, we're with him. Like whatever he says is up as far as this beef goes, and I loved it. I loved it.
interesting. Yeah, so I mean, I was actually kind of wondering. I haven't been keeping up with like social media as much, so I hadn't seen if they were like supporting him vocally like that. Just because things had been kind of weird since Kendrick had left TDE. Like we had noticed that none of the guys from Black Hippie were really on any of Kendrick's projects. Kendrick wasn't featured on any of TDE's projects. So I was just wondering like what the relationship was there. Maybe there was beef. Maybe there was a fallout. Now it doesn't seem that way. It seems like it was just business is business. Kendrick is doing his own thing. They're still in support of him. And in this beef, I mean, yeah, it's like you're basically picking sides, and it seems like all of these guys are Team Drake. But like you said, it is interesting to see like what SZA is gonna do. Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because even though I think a lot of people, not necessarily that they're on Kendrick's side, I think a lot of people are on whatever opposite side as Drake
Of
is,
Drake,
and
yeah.
it's a lot of people. But who do you think is going to show up at the show? Because I think a lot of TDE people are going to be there for sure, and that includes, like I said, Schoolboy, Zay, Absol, J Rock, Punch, like all of them. I think are going to be there. But outside of the TDE folk, who do you think will show up at the concert?
Well, I mentioned Future and Metro. I think those are two that we could most likely see. Um, I think Baby Keem is another shoe in to show up just because he's so closely related to Kendrick. See what his part is in all of this. Do you think we get a weekend appearance?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, because hey, Abel has some shit to say. He has not responded to anything Drake has said because a lot
Yeah,
of
yes.
the
Well, I don't know if it's responded because I'm trying to do the
because it
timing
was
of it.
before, I think.
Yeah, because We Still Don't Trust You came out before, like a couple days before.
Family
Push
Matters
Ups,
came out, or Family Matters,
Family
or not
Matters,
Family, yeah, because that's where he had more shots for him because he had push-ups. He had shots for the weekend on push-ups.
and we can respond to all over. Pretty much every verse he has some shit to say about Drake.
Yeah, but then after that, I think that was when Family Matters came out. The weekend hasn't responded since then, I believe. He's teasing his rollout, which, by the way, I'm very excited for his next album. But yeah, Uh,
I is it a shot in the dark to maybe think we get like a part of me thinks because this has been such a big moment for like West Coast hip hop that I feel like we might get a reunion of a bunch of West Coast hip hop icons. Because the big
I,
thing with Kendrick and one of the biggest
yeah.
moments in his career was getting on stage of I can't remember what show it was, like the name just slips out of my head for a second, but it's whenever he got crowned the new king of the West when you had a game on stage with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I wonder if they kind of do another moment like that where like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Game, a couple other people might show up on stage with Kendrick and not necessarily like crown him the king of the West because they already did, but kind of like stand behind him like on some 10 toes.
Yeah.
Like we're with you on and then play Not Like Us 30 fucking times. Because they all
Hey,
kind of said it like Game talked about it too, because he has a relationship with Drake, but he kind of made it clear that he's on if this is a West Coast thing, he's with the West Coast. And that's where Kendrick resides, you know what I mean? Which I think again, not to get back too much into the beef,
I was gonna
but
say, but is this a West Coast thing? Like,
Kendrick
is this
kind
like
of
a
has made it a West Coast thing.
yeah? I mean, he kind of has. I guess Drake kind of took it there when he did the AI thing with Tupac and Snoop Dogg, because I mean, he took two of the biggest rappers of like West Coast and was like, all right, here's the bait, man. And
Yeah,
it obviously didn't work out for him, but I guess that makes sense. Um, I could definitely see that. I guess throw in Ice Cube too.
maybe.
Ice
Maybe because
Cube.
they've all now that it's been like a month for the dust to settle a little bit. And because I think, like I said, I think for the rest of the time, these two are about to not even subliminally diss each other. They're about to diss each other for the rest of eons. I don't think we're going to get like track
Yeah.
beat track. But when Kendrick album inevitably drops this year, because that's what I think is the big announcement. I think in this tour or in this show, we're going to get like a date for the Kendrick album. Because I think we're going to get a Kendrick album.
You think we'll get it
Because
this year?
I think so. I think he's going to capitalize on this momentum because Terrace Martin, great artist in his own right, talked about the
Yeah.
fact that he's working on both his album and Kendrick's album. Like he's been working on the stuff that's going to be on there. And so you even had like a couple months ago where someone put together and released a lot of Kendrick Lamar leaks and reference tracks from the past like 3-4 years. And when stuff like that happens, like when a big vault of stuff like that like kind of releases to the public, that's usually meaning that like something is definitely in the pipeline. And
Yeah.
I do think Kendrick is going to capitalize this and drop a new project. It's just a matter of when. I think he's trying not to slow down how big Not Like Us is. And he's kind of right when Not Like Us starts to, I guess, what's the word? Not falls, but like kind of slows down.
Yeah.
Once Not Like Us starts to slow down, I think and that's why I think this show it'll be like, I'm announcing a new album August 29th or something like that, like end of summer. I definitely think we're gonna get an album announcement of some kind. It's gonna be a moment though.
Hey, regardless, I think again, this is like you said, it's gonna be a moment for Kendrick. I think Kendrick is gonna be a big winner coming out of this, regardless of what happens with the album rollout. But what the hell has Drake been up to, man? Can we talk about the "Hey There, Delilah" thing he did? That
Yeah.
was sickening. Like it literally, like my ears bleed hearing that song. It's so bad.
But I think he's trying to play, and I don't blame Drake because he's in a situation now where like he's getting a lot of hate for he has so much eyes on everything he does, especially now that like kind of the public has crowned that he's lost the beef, that he's kind of playing into the joke by rapping over the BBL Drizzy beat, by doing this whole parody song, the Wagwan Delilah. Like he's trying to play into the joke. And I think it's one of those things, whenever you're like clowning on your homie and he tries to join in on the joke, clowning on himself, and you're like, all right, it's not fun anymore. We're done with this. I think that's what Drake is trying to do. And it's kind of working a little bit. So I don't blame him for doing it.
it's also a deflection tactic. Let's be real here, because like everyone was talking about what Kendrick's allegations were about him, and Drake is
Yeah.
like, let's get it off that and let's think about like, oh, look at how funny and silly and goofy I am.
Because I don't know if you believe this. Drake's not done with his beef.
Oh no. I don't think
He's
so either.
like, I don't know what people might think in the past 15 years of following Drake. He's not done with this.
No,
He dissed Kanye and Pusha for the next 4 years
he's a petty,
after.
petty man.
He's a petty Scorpio, petty Scorpio, and he's made it very clear. So I have no doubt he's about to diss the everybody, Kendrick, Future, Metro, probably for the next 5-6 years.
Hey, speaking of which, let's check in on our neutral friend, Mr.
Your
J.
man,
Cole, who's, yeah, I was gonna say J. Cole's chilling on an
it's
island somewhere.
it's
Um,
it's grippy. That weak ass fucking verse. That weak ass verse.
Dude, you know what? I can't even defend that. I'm the biggest J. Cole fan, and I don't even know what to say about that. But besides that, I would like to revisit the J. Cole conversation because
We did this the last time we was on the pod.
no, because it's been a minute since like we've really had a chance to reflect on all of it since. And I just quickly want to say, like, I really do have respect for J. Cole, like putting out the diss track for the love of the game. But when he found out that it was like, okay, we're actually about to get into some serious shit,
Yeah.
I'm gonna back out. I respect that. So I don't think like his I guess like place in hip hop should ever be questioned because of, I mean, not ever be questioned, but it like shouldn't have a huge impact like we originally thought it was going to have on his career. You know what I mean?
I disagree. Like I said, we already had this conversation. He's not getting out of this, yo, buddy. I think Cole as an MC will always be held in really high regard for the way he can put words together. But as far as how he handled himself in this beef, he definitely did come out as a loser in this by doing what he did with 7 Minute Drill. Because I know I made multiple TikToks about this. If you want to see it, follow at AWR Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that good, fun stuff. But he did mention the fact that it was kind of hinted that Schoolboy or Schoolboy's people kind of told him that, hey, if you and Kendrick want to like do this little like rap battle thing, we can do it. But as far as a beef goes, where him and Drake are gonna take it, I don't know if you want to go as far as they're willing to go. And I respect Cole from the aspect of him being like, oh yeah, you're right, I don't want nothing to do with it. But once you jump out the window with something not like 7 Minute Drill, you didn't have to. You didn't have to do the hold on. You didn't have to do the whole apology on stage. If you wanted to do the apology behind the scenes with Kendrick, then cool. And then Kendrick never responds to 7 Minute Drill, then cool. I think he would have been perfectly fine that way. But to hear all this stuff about how Schoolboy warned you, and Drake was supposed to show up at Dreamville Fest, and I think we can guess how that conversation went between J. Cole and Drake. And I don't blame Drake for feeling that way. Do you?
Hey,
I don't.
I personally, I mean,
don't sit here and cap.
I kind of do.
You're capping. You're capping. So how you blame Drake for feeling that way?
They're not friends. Is Drake friends with any of the guys he makes music with? And
no.
This is clear throughout the whole beef. This
no,
is the whole thing.
But with him and Cole,
J. Cole has no loyalty to Drake.
I disagree. If I'm Drake, I disagree, because for the past 2-3 years we've been running around together, me and you, as the Spider-Man meme. Me and you looking at each other like we're goats. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Kendrick is the odd man out, and whatever we were trying to get him on, and he kind of flipped the finger at us not wanting to do this stuff. Cool. But when me and him are about to go at it, you don't want to defend me. You don't want to get in the middle of this. Cool. But don't do the diss track to Kendrick and then take it back. Talk about, oh yeah, if you felt away, I got my chin right out here. Take your best shot. If I'm Drake, especially when I'm about to go on stage with you to perform our hit that Kendrick doesn't like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
The way I see it, bro, is I think J. Cole made a business decision. He saw that Kendrick was going in for an attack of character. This wasn't an attack on his lyricism, an attack on his music. This is an attack on Drake being a pedophile, a scumbag. This is all Kendrick was going for. And J. Cole sensed it. He knew that he didn't want to be associated with this and said, "Man, I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here. I don't want
And
to deal with
I
this
hear
shit."
you, but a lot of that stuff,
And that
you've
has
already
nothing to
jumped
do with
in.
loyalty. They're not friends,
Yeah,
bro. They're not friends
I
like
don't
we
think they're
are.
friends. I don't think they are friends. I think they're all like, I think they're all phony. But like, even like the phoniness, you gotta have that line in the song. At least with them. If I'm talking about, if it's me, I don't care. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not my business. But if I'm Drake, you gotta think about it like this. If I'm Drake, I feel the way about what J. Cole did. I absolutely feel the way about what J. Cole did.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure, he can feel away, but I mean,
You would
he's
feel
got
the way.
to
That's how I know you're capping. If
he's
you
got
were
to
Drake,
understand. But
if
you got
you're
to
Drake,
understand where J. Cole's
you
coming
know,
from too.
then never put out 7 minute drill. Then don't go on
Because
stage. Don't go on. No, you
J.
can't do it. You
J.
can't
Cole
go
put
on
out
stage and
seven
do
minutes
that.
with the intention of going
I
at
hear you,
Drake with
but
a
you can't. But I
lyrical.
hear
Like,
you. I hear you. But then stand 10 toes down on that. Be like, I'm not gonna go the personal route. And you already know you and Kendrick aren't gonna go on the personal route with each other. But then don't do the whole the whole charade on stage, the whole apology on stage. If I'm Drake, I don't feel bad about the 7 minute drill. I feel bad about the apology on stage and taking it down. That's what I have a problem with, because you're leaving Drake out to dry. That's what he did. He left Drake out to dry. But like I said, let's
did
not
Drake
focus on this
deserve to
too
get
much.
left out to dry?
We're not gonna
Did
talk
Drake
about that. We're
deserve
not
to
gonna
get...
talk about that. We're not gonna talk about
That's
that.
a different conversation.
Because
I
we don't know
guess.
these people.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
we don't know
Well, I
these
guess
people.
hey, this is a good conversation. Transition to people we don't know, but a lot of stuff happening with them. Caitlin Clark is in the media, has been in the media a lot lately because the U.S. women's basketball team did not select her to be on their roster, and there has just been a lot. She got fouled in the game, and some of her black teammates and black, or not teammates, but black, other black females in the league have said that she's becoming like a problem, that she's not, you know, that her fans are becoming a problem, I think is really what the message is becoming, is that they're pushing a lot of really racist, sexist narratives about women's basketball that it's just, we don't need that right now.
I agree with them, because I think the whole Caitlin Clark thing has definitely left basketball a long time ago. And I've kind of like, once it left basketball and became this conversation, I kind of stayed my way out of it, because there's a multitude of bullet points that we haven't covered yet on this podcast. Like,
Yeah,
you got the whole thing of her being like, it seems to be treated overtly physical. And I think that's just plain old rookie hazing. You know what I mean? We saw this stuff happen with LeBron. We saw this stuff
every
happen.
sport.
We see it in every sport. Like, when the new young star, quote unquote, comes to the big leagues, they're gonna rough them up a little bit, especially when you're in a contact sport like basketball. You're gonna rough them up a little bit, and I think that's all that was happening with Caitlin Clark. I think
At first, that's all it was, and that's all it is. I think that's all.
And I think people were blowing it out of proportion, talking about, oh, they're just jealous of Caitlin Clark because she's getting this much attention. It's like, yes and no. Like, no, it's not specific to her. Yes, they definitely are jealous, but that's just how athletes are. They're uber competitive, especially when it comes to stuff like this. And then it devolved into this whole conversation of, why didn't she make the Olympic team? Like, she would help their ratings. And I think it's such an asinine take, especially people from mainstream media, because it's like, to translate this to a different sports, right? Gage can attest to this. A lot of people that don't like the Cowboys will point to Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones' obsession over the image of the Cowboys and the popularity of the Cowboys, rather than the product that they put on the field in relative to success. And so when you say that Caitlin Clark should have been brought on the team for bringing up popularity, but then in the same breath, clowning Jerry Jones, it's which one is it? Which one is it? And I know it's from the perspective of, this is a player in a league that's growing, to this is the Cowboys, this is a historic franchise. For me, that doesn't matter. I think you're talking on both sides of your mouth, and you just sound like a clown. Like, Caitlin Clark didn't deserve to be on the Olympic team. She's going to deserve it. And I think Diana Taurasi is definitely, yes, I'm saying her name, and I respect Diana Taurasi for the player she is. She's stealing a fucking spot on that team. She does not deserve to be on that team. Enrique, I can't pronounce her last name. I think she's my favorite player to watch, and she plays for the Dallas Wings. She absolutely deserves to be on the team, leading the WNBA in scoring. Absolutely deserves to be on that USA team.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Clark does not deserve to be on that team. And that's okay.
And,
she's going to get a chance to get it in 2026 or in 2028. And she's going to probably start on that team because she's had a great rookie year so far.
man,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with almost everything you said, bro. Like that was very that was very well put. Like she's not ready right now, and that's okay. Like she is a up and coming prominent figure. But when you go to the Olympics, the whole idea is to win a gold medal. You have to put the best product on the court. If we go to the WNBA and we're looking at it from just stats, watching the games, she's turning the ball over more than 5 times a game. She's averaging 5 turnovers a game. She's leading all rookies in scoring right now, but like in the grand scheme of things, is she a top 15 women's basketball player in the world right now? No, but that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Like,
and we don't have to push these narratives too of that, like, oh well, she didn't make it because like she's white and her teammates hate her. No, that's not the case. She's just not good enough right now. She has to earn her way onto the roster just like every one of those other women had to.
And I also want to call Cap. I want to give a shout out to Angel Reese. I know a lot of people didn't think that her game would translate to the WNBA. What she's doing with Chicago is pretty impressive. The neck and neck race her and Caitlin are going to have for Rookie of the Year, it's amazing.
Yeah.
She's also lying too. She's capping. When she's talking about, yeah, people are watching for me as well. People didn't know who Caitlin was before me. You're wrong. People knew who Caitlin Clark was. Yes, I got to give it credit where credit was due. Your rivalry, you and LSU's rivalry with Caitlin Clark in Iowa did help put a lot of light on that stage and in this sport, and you deserve credit for that. But people very well knew who Caitlin Clark is before you were entered into the conversation.
Yeah, and that's not to take anything away from what Angel Reese is doing. Like
no,
you said,
not.
She's having a great season. I loved her at LSU, and we've talked about it before on the podcast of like we've seen these like racist and sexist elements bleed into it before because we've had this conversation where people were calling her a villain during all of this. She's a basketball player in a rivalry. They're just trying to win. They're competitive athletes. It's the same thing as we see in any other sport. So the fact that people are starting to just make this into something else, also because like I saw Serena Williams also backed Caitlin Clark, and a lot of people were just taking that and running with it. And it's just like, well, she was just giving her support because in the sense that like Caitlin Clark is just playing basketball. That's all she really wants to do. She's just a product of everything else and all of the stupid fucking people on the internet talking about this.
I agree with that, but then that goes into the conversation of heavy is the head that wears the crown. Caitlin, you might not have wanted all this attention, especially this specific publicity, but Caitlin Clark is now in the conversation of very few athletes in general, where the weight of the sport feels to be on their shoulders. The LeBrons, the Messis, whether she ends up being as good as them, time will tell. Even bigger than anything Taurasi or Sue had to handle, and Lisa Leslie and the ladies before them. She is now the face of WNBA. She is now the face of the WNBA and women's basketball. So I agree with some of the women when they said she has a responsibility to come out and speak about certain things that are happening on her behalf, whether she's acknowledging it or not.
Yeah, and I think that's a big point because I think the first night they had asked her about it, she like kind of just was like dismissive of it. She didn't say anything. She was just like, "Oh, I'm just here to play basketball. I'm ignoring all of that." And people like criticized her for that, and she ended up coming out and like actually like basically rephrasing what she had said earlier of saying like, "Hey, I'm in support of all of these girls too." Like this has nothing to do with all of the bullshit that everyone is trying to make it about. We are just competitors. We're trying to play basketball. This is all it is at the end of the day. So yeah, just a lot of shit going on. And it's really unnecessary in my opinion. You just have fun, enjoy the basketball. This is the most popular women's basketball has been in a really might be ever. And yeah, we just gotta take it for it is, man. Take it for what it is, and hope that all of these women can continue growing and growing the sport too, because more money in their pockets is good for everybody.
And I'm having a blast, bro. I've been watching the WNBA this season, really more than I ever have. And I have watched the WNBA before in the past. But as far as keeping up with all the storylines, like the Aces really have a chance to three-peat. I think Asia is clearly the best player in
Shout out Becky Hammond.
Yeah, what they're doing over there is great. I'm really the Wings are on a losing streak, and I'm kind of annoyed. But I mean, Enrique's getting buckets, so I'm getting lit. Like I'm having a blast watching them. So a shout out to them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in store for the second half of the year.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm excited to see what happens with the Olympics too, because we've got Olympic basketball coming up, and this is a really good women's basketball team, I think, that could win a gold medal along with the men's team, which we'll talk about men's basketball here in a minute. I'm sure we'll get into international play and the NBA finals. But before we get to that, Ethan, it's time for our favorite segment of the show.
We better hit this hole in the first try. You ready?
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Put you on. My voice cracked like crazy.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say
my voice cracked like crazy. My voice cracked like crazy. Hey. I was about to burp. That's what it was.
Hey, well, you got mad at me for fucking it up, and you were the one who messed it up this time. That's all right, man. But we'll get them next time. All right. Yeah. But do you want to start with music or movies this week?
I want to start with music, man. Like, I know we kind of teased it a little earlier, but for me, for my music choice of the week, it's got to be the Anderson .Paak and Knowledge collab album, Why Lord. It's amazing. I've already replayed it like 3 or 4 times. It's a sequel to the project they had a couple years ago called Yes Lord, which is definitely like to compare and contrast these two albums just very quickly in this Put You On segment. Yes Lord is more of like a player's anthem, R&B. This one's more of like a yearning, like a lot more like, I wouldn't say soulful, but like, you know the difference between R&B like popping your shit and R&B like, please baby I need you back. This is on some please baby I need you back type of time. And I love it. It's so good. It was very much worth the wait. It's different than Silk Sonic, and I think I might prefer it. I prefer this duo than I do to Silk Sonic. And it's tough because I do like Silk Sonic, but the magic that Knowledge and Anderson .Paak have, it's great.
Man, I'll have to check out more of the album because I was able to skim through the first couple of tracks. But I was listening to the Don Toliver album last night, or I guess whenever this episode's coming out, Friday night this came out. And I got to say, man, Don did it again, man. Heartstone, Psycho. I'm a big fan so far. Kryptonite, Torah, Brother Son. I really don't think there's a miss, and not even a miss. I think Bandit's a cool song, but that was like the first one where I was like, all right, we're slowing down just a little. But besides that, Glock, Ice Age, Purple Rain with Future, Backstreets with Tizo Touchdown 2. Man, yeah, Don was cooking.
No, the Don album is good, bro. Like I said, I listen to it not as much as I have the No Worries, but we have the whole summer. But first listen is pretty good. I'm not gonna be the one to tell you where it ranks in his discography for me, but I do enjoy it a lot, and I'm glad you like it. Both of us are really big Don fans. So wasn't Don the first show we went to together?
Yeah, that was man. We got free tickets for that show too, man. That was cool as shit.
Yes, sir.
Cool shit. That was during the Life of a Don tour
in 2022.
It was like right after COVID, so like 2021. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
it makes sense. I think it was like July. I remember it was summertime.
Yeah, man, that was a good time, bro. Brought out Travis Scott, Kali Uchis.
Very, very good show. Very good show in Houston. Went there and back in one night, boy. Ooh.
That was crazy. And man, the drive up there to Buc-ee's and everything. If you're from Texas, you know, man.
In hindsight, that drive really wasn't that long. I guess because we went during rush hour. That's why.
Yeah, we were kicking it, man. We had a great time, and man, we need to do that again. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll come
but
up to a show in Dallas or something.
I mean, come on, come on. I'm trying to get more people to come down because I went to the Gunna show last month. Fantastic, by the way. Gunna puts
Really,
on a really good show, and I really want to go to the Future and Metro show at the end of the year.
yeah. Can I give two honorable mentions for put
Go
you on
crazy,
this
go
week?
crazy. It's our
Because they
show.
also these two guys. Yeah, I just don't want to step on your toes if you had something else. But
Nah,
I
nah,
also
nah.
want to give a shout out to Kate Tronada album that came out last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's got features with Don Toliver, Anderson .Paak, Childish Gambino feature on there, which I'm a big fan of. And also want to give a quick shout out to the Lucky album that dropped last night too, Gemini. I got some cool songs on there. Me personally, love the song with Yachty, Big Gavel. That's my shit. And Twin Flow with V's too. But yeah, anything else? Anything else that
Not music wise. I mean,
music
we can
wise?
really get into some of the stuff that was missed on our TikTok. I definitely been talking about a lot of that stuff there. But I say we move on to music and or movies and TV. Ton of great TV out, movies too. It's summertime. I could dip in and talk about how good I thought Furiosa was, even though
Still
it didn't
haven't
get a lot
seen
of
it,
love.
man.
Pretty good. I need to watch Inside Out 2 and Bad Boys. Are gonna
Yep.
bootleg it or something allegedly, maybe. But as far as the show I'm gonna pick is the new season of Smiling Friends just came out.
Oh,
I've been
brother.
waiting to watch it and I love it
Oh,
so much.
brother.
I was late to watching season 1 up until a couple years ago. It's been a big break since season 1 of Smiling Friends. And season 2 has been hilarious so far. If you're really into that raunchy, like old school Adult Swim comedy that I didn't appreciate when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I love it. It's hilarious. Smiling Friends. You can watch it on HBO Max, but it's on Adult Swim too. So if you have that app, you can definitely watch it.
That's so funny you brought that show up because Dylan loves that show. Tried getting me to watch a couple episodes, and man, I don't get it. I just didn't think it was funny. But I also wasn't a big fan of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force or anything.
See,
I
I
don't know.
wasn't either, but I think Smiling Friends is genuinely hilarious. Like I love it.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I get it. I think there's definitely an audience for it. I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you used it for your put you on because, like I said, Dylan loves it. Me personally, not a fan, but hey.
Yeah.
I am gonna do a new season of anime actually. Catching
Mhm.
up on My Hero, new My Hero season out now,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's
No
been
comments. No comments from me with regards to My Hero. If you like My Hero, man, shout out to y'all.
yeah.
I did my time on My Hero. I did my time on My Hero.
I enjoyed it. As for the people who care about my anime watching statuses, I've been trying to keep up, guys. I'm trying to catch up with Ethan because Ethan's leagues ahead of me right now.
I watched too much.
Way too much. But I'm trying to get to that level. So I'm in the process. I'm caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen,
Mhm.
caught up on Demon Slayer, um, and I am currently watching Attack on Titan, and I'm starting Fire Slayer.
Fire Force.
Fire Force, yeah, with Dylan. I want
All,
to show Dylan Fire
all,
Force.
all the mainstream ones out the way. I don't blame you. I
Yeah,
don't
just
blame
get them out of the way. Yeah.
See, whenever I first started, what I did would help me was I had a lot of free time, but I would watch one mainstream and then one like not so
Like,
mainstream.
yeah.
A seasonal one, just so I had like compare and contrast as far as the type. Because when you watch that many like battle shonen, like they're great and I love them, but like you get burnt out easily watching the
Yeah.
same because they go by a similar formula throughout all of them. So
That's fair. But well, that was put you on. And if you enjoyed our selections and want to hear us talk about more stuff in the music and entertainment world, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And we got micro content all there for you. And if you're liking this podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Really helps us out. Free way to help us help the channel grow, and share the video with a friend. But without any further ado, I say we move forward with the next topic. Let's talk about the NBA Finals. the Dallas
Yes,
Mavericks.
yes.
Because the Dallas Mavericks, as of today, when we record this on June 15th, are down 3-1 in the NBA Finals with the Boston Celtics. And Ethan, our local Dallas Mavericks fan, only Dallas Mavericks fan, not a
I'm a
Lakers
Lakers fan
fan.
too.
He's
I'm a
not a
Lakers fan.
Laker. He's not a Lakers fan. Do
I
not
am a
listen
Lakers
to.
fan.
He's our Dallas Mavericks insider. Ethan Hamilton, how are you feeling about the Dallas Mavericks?
Honestly, this season has been such a success. I know the past month has been really where my Mavs fandom has ramped up because we did beat OKC and we did beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. When people didn't think we were going to beat Minnesota, keep it a fucking buck. We've been underdogs in pretty much every series. I'll say Clippers was kind of 50-50. Like, people wanted the Clippers to win, but they're like, Dallas should win type of thing. Maybe, sort of. But nonetheless, we're in this Boston series, and this finals, as a Mavs fan, kind of worst case scenario. What happened, to be honest? I mean, Porzingis came back and completely ruined us, especially the first two games. First games, he was nuts. Games 2, overall, there really hasn't been that good of a shooting performance from anybody on the Mavericks besides Luka. Kyrie hasn't played well in Boston at all. In Dallas, he's played great. And this last game, game 4, the supporting cast finally showed up. I mean, it took them 3 games, but on the 4th game, they finally got here, showed up to the arena. And I think the Dallas Mavericks, I think we showed a lot of stuff that is like cause for concern for Celtics. As far as, I think defensively, we've been great this series. I really think we've done a great job holding the Celtics to what they've done, even less so compared to how they performed so far in the playoffs. I think offensively is where the disappointment kind of goes. I wanted PJ, Derrick Jones Jr., and the rest of the guys really to shoot as well they have been this playoffs. Hasn't really translated. Wanted Kyrie to finally get some sort of redemption in Boston. Hasn't really gotten there that way. And the way it's looking like, the Mavs are about to be the first team to come back from 3-0 in NBA history. Mavs in 7. I'm not dying. I'm dying with the ship, I should say. And if it ends on Monday, so be it. So be it.
You know what? I appreciate the dedication. I appreciate the love for your team. This series is wraps, in my opinion. But that doesn't take away from the huge success that the season was for the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic, I think, because what seed were the Mavericks? The 5 seed?
Yeah.
Right? 5 seed coming into this thing. There were doubts, a lot of doubts coming into the season about whether Kyrie and Luka were going to be able to get it done. And shit, they've proved everybody wrong. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Timberwolves. Not the Nuggets. OKC. They beat OKC. They beat the Timberwolves. Like, these are not like pushovers either. These are good teams. These are 3 very good teams in the Western Conference. And they get to Boston, and unfortunately, they're outmanned. They're outmatched. Luka has too much on his shoulders. The Celtics have a very good team, very well coached, and sometimes that's just the way it is. But what I am taking away from the series is I know how good Luka is. I need to see him take that next step. And I shout out Ethan because he posted a TikTok about this. Go watch the TikTok if you haven't already. He talked about Luka's mentality in the playoffs. And I really think game 3 is what we're going to look back as the turning point in this series, where they played so well in game 4. They beat the brakes off of them and had a chance in game 3. But Luka played himself out of it with getting fouls and complaining to the officials every time he got touched. And these are things that he's going to have to move through if they're going to want to win championships, if he wants to become one of the best players of all time, like LeBron. Like, it's just a simple thing of changing the way he approaches the game mentally moving forward. And it would make a world of difference.
And I appreciate you giving me like that you received it, because I'm coming it from like Luka's my favorite player. I'm very much biased in Luka's favor, and I don't want that game 3 performance, however bad it was. You might look at the stat sheet and was like, oh, he had 28, 5 and 5. It was a bad game. It was a very bad game. One of the worst playoff games he's had. Excuse me. But I'm coming this from a person that I want to see Luka do it, and he has definitely improved as a player. Luka's a top 3 undebatable player on earth. That's what he is. Whether you think he's 1, 2, or 3 is up to you. But and he's like he can play defense. This season, he has taken a step defensively. Whether you like it or not, it's been shown. We don't beat the Clippers without him getting better defensively. We don't beat OKC without him getting better defensively. We definitely don't beat Minnesota without him getting better defensively. It just so happens that the way Boston were set up, he hasn't really shown the best effort. That's really what it is. If you get cooked, you get cooked because you're not a good defender. Like, it just is what it is. Jokic isn't a good defender. Steph Curry isn't a good defender. But it got to a certain point with them two where the effort needed to be there, where you couldn't bully them two. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think game 3, Luka played himself out of it, bro. Like 4 fouls in the fourth quarter. Game 3, you're down. We were down by 25 at one point in the third. Like, it's unacceptable, bro. But it's one of those things is I'm not going to get on his ass too much, like how a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are jumping the gun when talking about Luka, but it's heavy as the head that wears the crown. Like, Luka's been the best player in the NBA this season. Out of him, Jokic, and Giannis, he's the only one that made it to the finals and got close to one. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do, and I think a lot of it, like, because I know I've been rambling for a second, but a lot of the analysts picked Mavericks, pick Luka, pick Kyrie to upset Boston, and so now that it's more likely than not going to happen, they're kind of upset at the fact that they feel like he let them down. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think there is a lot of truth in everything you just said, and the final thing I want to say about Luka is I just think that, like, you can't deny his greatness, and like offensively, but defensively, like you mentioned, we saw that increase, and it's just a little bit of effort on his part that we saw that made the world a difference. And game 3 could have changed the whole series. So that's where I look at it from Luka's point of view and just say, hey, every game matters, dude. You have to look at it the same way that Missoula's looking at this, that the rest of the Celtics are looking at this, of we need to win every game we can. Last night was not the case. They got the break speed off of them, but
it's kind of a little too late.
Yeah, it's a little too late for the Mavericks, right? But speaking of Luka getting a lot of criticism, I want to talk about, I kind of want to defend him a little bit because I feel like he's getting way too much hate, and that's Jason Tatum, man. Let me start with why I think some of the criticism is valid. There are times in this series where I've questioned, does he look like the best player on his team? Jaylen Brown has been really good this series, well, besides last night, I guess. Kristaps Porzingis went crazy in game 1. Drew Holiday has been so good for them defensively and had huge moments for them. Derek White stepped up for them a lot. And there are just a lot of times where I look at Jason Tatum and I agree with people that he is a product of everything else that he's working with. But at the same time, this is a guy who scored 30 points in game 3, averages at least 20 points a game. He's getting you rebounds. He's getting you assists. He impacts the game in so many other ways that he is a elite NBA player. Not on the level of a Luka or Jokic or Giannis, in my opinion, but he is a guy that you can win championships with, and he's about to prove that right now. And I really just don't get the discourse that he's not a guy you can't win an NBA championship with, because he's proving it.
I think I can explain it. It's in a similar he was in a similar situation that Luke is about to be in. 2 years ago when they played Golden State and they was up 2-0. Everybody was talking about how it's Tatum's time. It's him and Jaylen Brown's time. They've had because Jaylen Brown has had stacked rosters his entire career. And he's been great. But it's just the culmination of everything. Him making the Eastern Conference Finals with Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, and that's Marcus Smart and that squad. And them losing to LeBron. Even the next year after that, them losing the couple of times they lost to Milwaukee, the times they lost to the Heat. And then against Golden State, they up 2-0. All you got to do is really just win your games at home.
And put your foot on their neck. End it.
Because the 2 games were at home in Boston, and they couldn't even do that. And so a lot of ESPN now analysts and just mainstream analysts, they felt the egg on the face from Tatum. That now that Tatum is a superstar, is one of the 10 best players in the world, they want to see domination from Tatum. And now that Tatum's not doing it, they want to start with the whole, oh, Jaylen Brown is better. Jaylen Brown's not better than Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown's probably going to win Finals MVP, deservedly so. And I think Jaylen Brown is a better player in his role than Jason Tatum is in his, if that makes sense. Like Jaylen Brown's a better number 2 than Jason Tatum is a number 1. It still doesn't change the fact that Jason Tatum is a number 1 and Jaylen Brown is the number 2. And I appreciate the fact that Jason Tatum is being very, is not trying to make this about him from the aspect of he's doing a lot of the dirty work that Luka isn't doing this series. I'm not saying he's playing better than Luka. He's not playing better than Luka, but just in general, he's doing it with a smile on his face because he's still getting the shots up. He's just shooting fucking bricks. He's shooting the shot them. Like, let's not do that where, oh, he's sacrificing his shots. No, he's just missing. He's just missing. He's getting locked up. But he's doing a good job defensive rebounding, passing out when he gets into the paint, into open looks, and doing a good job for his team. And when he wins his win, whether it's game 5, 6, or 7, shout out to him. You can't really take that from him. But that's why the people feel the way they do about Jason Tatum. For me, I've kind of, because I used to be on that side. I really used to be on that hate Jason Tatum side. But I've kind of went towards the other way. I'm like, man, he's a top 6, 7 player on earth. Whoa, he's never going to be he's not going to be a top 4 player on earth. He's never going to be, you're never once going to think Jason Tatum's the best player in the world. Never once. But he's going to have multiple first-team All-NBAs. He might have a really good chance at MVP a couple times in his career. He will be the best player on a championship team.
He's about to be, basically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and this is the other thing I want to say about Tatum is I want to commend him for all of the stuff, like, off the court, too, because on the court, people can, critique all of his stats and the way he plays and everything on that side. But in the media, Jason Kidd calling him out, basically saying Jaylen Brown is the best player, egging him on, getting him to take more shots. I love that it didn't impact Tatum's game. He went out, did his thing, didn't worry about it. Like you said, like even though the shots weren't falling, he played defense, did the things that Luka wasn't doing. And that's what separated Tatum. And after the game, too, they asked him, like, hey, you're up 3-0 in the series. How does it feel that you're about to put a banner up, another championship? And he said, I really don't care because all you guys are going to talk about is how easy it was for us to get here anyways. So we're just going to worry about winning it again next year. Like, that is the perfect way to approach it, making it more about the team and not about yourself. I have a lot of respect for Jason Tatum, man. I don't know if I made my list right now, he would even crack my top 7. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But he is a very good player, and you need to have respect for his game and what he brings to the Celtics because he's legit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can have that conversation, like I said, after the finals, if they ended up winning or the Mavs pull it off. But I do think this was a chance. Mavs could have won this series. Let's put this, especially with Porzingis missing the last 2. Game 3 was the game to win.
For sure.
If Dallas would have won game 3,
we'd be having a completely different conversation right now.
I would say it's legit 50-50 who's going to win the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it literally would be. It would be 2-2.
Because I feel like Dallas has played good in spurts. They just, like, it's weird, like, it's just weird. Like, they went through such bad cold streaks where you're like, you threw the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be in game 2 or game 3. Like, game 2, at the end of the game, if Kyrie shows up somewhat in that game, especially in the fourth quarter, Dallas wins game 2. If we get a couple calls our way, the PJ Washington block, it was a foul. He got fouled by Derek White and Drew Holiday. That's a 1-possession game with 2 minutes left. And even game 3, even game 3, if Luka calms down, we win that game. If he guards anybody in that fourth quarter, bro, we went nuclear. Boston we had them by the ball sack. It was 93-90. Luka had 4 fouls in the fourth quarter. And I'm not even mad about the first Jaylen Brown one, where Jaylen Brown hooked him from behind. That should have been an offensive foul. I was mad about the last one, bro. Bro, Luka. It's a 3-on-2 fast break. Why are you trying to get a charge in the open court when you have 5 fouls? You have 4 or 3 fouls. You want to risk it? Cool. You have 5 fouls. Just let him go.
You're the most
Just let him.
important player, offensive player on your team. Like, don't take the charge.
Let
Move
him
out of the
go.
way.
Let Josh Green get the foul. Who's right behind you?
Live to play another day. But
and then for him to throw that tantrum and basically force Jason Kidd to use that challenge when Jason Kidd should have never used that challenge, and I don't think he wanted to, but he was like, I gotta see if we can maybe get a lucky call with Luka. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it didn't work out because guess what? The next play with the PJ Washington screen, that was a good chance to use that challenge. You know what I'm saying? But Luka threw a fit. And this offseason, like I said, after the series, depending on how it ends, holding I hope, we'll talk about what the Mavericks would need to do. And I think they need to look into getting some leadership for Luka, like even more than what Kyrie offered. Because I'm pretty sure Luka and Kyrie had a conversation. There's no coincidence that after the game when Windhorse and all of them were tearing Luka's asshole a new one, and then Luka went in the press conference and blamed the refs. There's no coincidence that the next day he had an interview being like, yeah, I need to watch my behavior. PR made a call. Luka probably had a conversation with Jason Kidd, Mark Cuban, and Dirk and all of them. Was like, Luka, and they probably checked him. And was like, bro, that game was on you. And I like the way he came out and played in game 4. He was locked down in game 4. Probably a little too late, though. Probably a little too late, Luka. Probably needed that. Not saying that you been like that the whole season. Not saying that that's what you are as a player. But when push came to shove in this Boston series, you just weren't locked in.
No, and I mean, so that's the thing, bro. Is I feel like y'all already kind of do have leadership. Like Jason Kidd, regardless of what you think about him, he's signed.
He's changed my mind as far as a coach. I thought he's done. Yeah. He's definitely been out coached by Missoula this series. I think,
but Missoula's very good. Let's give Missoula his flowers too.
True, but also the margin of error for him and Missoula is different. It's fucking different.
Yeah, you know for sure. Like, the teams are completely built different too.
Yeah, like we could talk about game 3, him playing Hardaway, and this coming from a person that wanted to see Hardaway play earlier in the series. Him playing Hardaway over Exum probably cost him game 3, especially looking at the way Exum played in game 4, and he's gonna play game 5 and thinking, oh, maybe against Boston, a team like Boston, getting a third ball handler on the court sometimes with Luka and Kyrie helps free up Luka and Kyrie instead of playing one-on-one at top of the key. And it worked really well in game
game 3.
It really worked really well in game 4, and it's like maybe game 3. Instead of playing Tim Hardaway, who by the fucking way, him hitting 5 straight threes, him going nuclear. He thinks we don't fucking know. Tim Hardaway thinks we don't fucking know. I always get everybody in that Buffalo Wild Wings that I was at in Dallas, they were going nuts, like not in a good way. They were so mad at Tim, and we were up by 40, and they're like, "Why wasn't this here that last game?" Bro, he was taking one dribbling down the court, pull up 3, wet, bro. The net wasn't moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, he was on a heater last night, and yeah,
I'm happy he did. Maybe he does something game fucking 5.
No, you know the funny thing is, like, you're 100% right though. He only did that to is he a free agent this offseason?
No, he's still got like 2 years left on his contract.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if he was a free agent just trying to get his stock up, I'm like, man, shit, we lost the series. I'm about to become a free agent. Let me get my stock up, bro. 5 threes, back to back to back. It's going an absolute fucking heater. But all right,
it just feels like a little too late. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I wish, you know what I'm saying, we cleaned, again, the margin of error was so tight, especially with Porzingis playing the first 2 games. But it's just like we're gonna have for us to pull this off. I'm very much of the mindset that one day it'll be done. And if they're thinking, why not be us, then all for it. And no team has ever come down from 3-0. It's 3-1. One team has come down from 3-1, and Kyrie was on that team. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So who knows? I'll tell you what, though. If we win game 5, this is going 7.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll come back on this podcast because I'm sure we'll record.
If Kyrie because I think we're due a Kyrie Irving game in Boston. We're due one.
All right. Well, hey, let's
Telling
see
you,
what happens, man. Make sure you follow our recording to keep up with all of our NBA stuff. Um, e- Before we move on and end the show, I want to ask you how you felt about this because this is like it must be kind of weird for you. So you got Luca, Dallas Mavericks last night, Game 4, Sergio Ramos in a Dallas Mavericks jersey.
bro. Seeing all these Madrid players in like Dallas, it was like making my stomach hurt. Like,
Yeah.
you have what's it called? The president of Real Madrid a couple months. I think it was during the OKC or Boston series. Fiorentino Perez, that a lot of people don't know, bro. He's like, think of Roger Goodell or them on steroids in Europe. He's like the face of soccer. Like he and him showing up to a Mavs game, like, oh, I'm here. It's nuts. It's proven that Luka really is becoming a global superstar.
Yeah, growing the game, and it's great for everyone because soccer is fucking nothing in the United States. But we start bringing these guys over here. Luca starts growing over there. This is just it's good for the game, man. I'm excited.
I'm glad you brought it up because this summer is really, really big for soccer. I know during the World Cup,
Huge.
I was going crazy, getting engaged a little by little into the sport. And the past 2 years, he's definitely grown. But this summer, I'm pressuring him, guys. I need y'all to comment with updates and stuff like that, get engaged into soccer, especially this
Really
summer,
into it, guys.
having the European competition, the Euros going on, which is all the major European national teams are going to be competing against each other, all the different storylines. And then while that's going on, we're going to have the Copa America, which is the Cup of the Americas, specifically with the South American teams. You have a couple North American and Central American teams like Honduras, like Jamaica, like the United States and Mexico. So if those are any of y'all's teams, make sure definitely to tap in because it's going to be a great tournament. Argentina, I'll say this: we have such a cakewalk to that Copa America final. I like Gage. For you don't know, for you,
I'm looking at the table right now. Actually,
Brazil. Really, the only people that have a chance to win Copa America this year is Argentina, going back to back, especially off winning a World Cup 2 years ago. Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Uruguay. Uruguay is in fantastic form. I think it's going to be between us and Uruguay. But the funny thing is, 3 of those teams are all on one side of the bracket. Brazil,
yeah.
Uruguay, Colombia are all on one side. The United States is on that side too. The best team in North America is all on that white side.
All I'm saying is, on the other side, watch out for the sneaky Mexicans.
yeah, y'all are on our side for sure. Y'all are on our side.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get like if we play against Argentina, I'm sure Mexico's gonna get their asses handed to them most likely. But hey, at least we're in the tournament. At least we're having fun. We're here. Mexico's got Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica in their group. So
I want to see Jamaica move on. That's a hard ass group. That's such a hard group. Because for those who don't know, Ecuador and Venezuela, they might not be powerhouses, but as far as like national teams go, this is like a lot of their players are very young and they're very, very good. For me personally, Jamaica is an older squad. They have a lot of players that play in the Premier League, which is extremely talented for them. Jamaica has had a bunch of success in CONMEBOL of recently. Never won a gold medal. Came in second a couple times against Mexico and the United States. So I'm rooting for them, especially just to make it out the group stage. It's going to be hard though, because Argentina is in the group with Peru, Chile, and Canada. We're winning every single one of those games. Then you got Mexico, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Jamaica. That's a hard group. I think Ecuador and Venezuela are probably gonna move on. If not, it'll be Ecuador and Mexico. My fault.
Shut your mouth. Mexico's getting at least through the group stage. Come on,
and then you look at that group with Brazil, Paraguay, Colombia, and Costa Rica is nuts. But a summer of soccer too, because then when the minute this ends, you have the Olympics, which is basically a lot of these, not these same squads, because the Olympics is different rules, similar to how basketball was before the Dream Team. Is like you're only allowed a certain amount of players above the age of 23 to play. So this is a great soccer for great summer for international soccer. So please tap in. I'm gonna try to convince Gage to really get in on it. But
I'm gonna be watching. Don't worry.
But hey, man, it feels great to be back. Talking about hip hop, sports, all the stuff we love. Is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap it up?
No, man, I think we did a pretty good job of covering it. But if you guys think we missed anything, make sure to comment it in the YouTube comments. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about next week, or just in general. And yeah, y'all take care. It's been a minute. Make sure it's hot here in Texas, so make sure y'all are staying hydrated. I almost died of heat stroke last week. Yeah.
Hot as hell.
It's not fun. So make sure y'all are staying hydrated. And y'all have a fun summer. Keep our recording listening. Keep it playing. And we'll see y'all next time. For the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton. You're going to do the bark? No. There you go. I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all for watching our recording, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.